Good morning, everybody. It took a lot of courage to resist the Nazis in Germany during the time of the Third Reich, and one fellow who resisted courageously and ended up being executed for it was Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a very devout Christian pastor, writer, and advocate of truth and justice. And it was on this date, April 9 in 1945, that he was killed. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was born on February 4, 1906 in Breslau, which was Germany then, Poland now, had 7 siblings, and his older brother Walter was killed in World War I. Here's a picture of German soldiers from World War I. A reminder how World War I had a huge impact on Germans in the early 20th century. He was confirmed at age 15 in Berlin, so his family had moved from what is now Poland to Berlin. And in 1923, when he was 17, he entered the University of Tübingen and showed himself to be a hard worker, good student, deep thinker. And at the same time, the same year, 1923, was when Hitler attempted to take over power in Munich and failed and was arrested. So Hitler is becoming more and more famous in Germany. And in 1930, Bonhoeffer moved to New York City, and he taught at Union Theological Seminary for a while. And while he was there, he experienced, of course, American Christianity, and often went up to Harlem and worshiped with the African American community up there. And that really made a big impact on him. He was really struck by that. He got to know famous theologians. Here's one, Karl Barth, who was a Swiss reformer. They were quite close during his adult years. And a few years after meeting Karl Barth, Hitler came to power in 1933. And Bonhoeffer was outspoken right from the beginning about the dangers of Nazism. And when he became a pastor in 1935, age 21, Hitler had been in power for a couple of years, and he warned Germans against becoming caught up in the personality loyalty with Hitler. And it was really complicated being a Christian in Nazi Germany because it was just different for Catholics and Protestants in different parts of the country. Fascinating story, but out of it came something called the Confessing Church, and it was an attempt for Christians who were against the Nazis to work together. Well, in the mid-30s, Bonhoeffer moved to England, and he ministered to Germans in exile. And while he was there, he was warned, if he comes back to Germany, not to be too critical of the regime. But he did go back to Germany. Here's a picture of him with some seminary students. He was doing kind of underground seminary work. And this is the context for this book, The Cost of Discipleship, where he talks about how hard it is to be a Christian, and this is when the SS and the Gestapo are arresting people. So that's the background to this book. He was in the United States when Germany invaded Poland in 1939, but he went back to Germany. He could have stayed in the States, but he didn't, and felt he needed to be in Germany and to minister to the Germans while his country was at war. And he was asked to join the Abwehr, which is the German intelligence unit. And while there, he became associated with people who were against the regime. One thing led to another, and on April 5, 1943, he was arrested and put in Tegel prison in Berlin. So he was here for almost 2 years, and eventually one thing led to another, and on this date, April 9, 1945, he was executed at Flossenburg Camp near the Czech border, and here's a list of some of the people who were executed along with Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And interestingly enough, Hitler himself died just a couple weeks later. And this book came out in 1951. These were letters and papers he had written while in prison, smuggled out the final testimony of a heroic man of faith.